Chris Allen here on the Sam channel, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and X, all sponsored by Ace Hardware Marketplace. Well, it's a Tuesday. It's raining. It's a pretty good rain that's coming down. It's been coming down all night. We'll check some of the totals here in just a minute. As you see with the radar, we're pretty well covered, pretty well socked in with rain this morning. If you're going anywhere, especially like to work or maybe even a long haul, some travel, you're going to run into this rain going north, south, east, west. In the west, it is beginning to break up just a little bit, and I do expect a little bit of a lull in the activity as we go through the rest of the morning. You can see that back here, southern Missouri and into Arkansas, down to Memphis, Tennessee, and along I 40 west of Jackson. The rains are beginning to subside, but there's more activity on the backside of this that I'm going to talk about and highlight here. None of this is heavy. It's occasionally moderate rainfall. We've got the warm frontal boundary that's laying across Kentucky. And actually, temperatures have been going up during the overnight hours. We did go down to about 42, 43 degrees. And then since that warm front has come through, we've started to warm back into the 50s. I have 50 right now at my house as of almost 7 a.m. this morning, 6:57, as we do this live. Let's look back to the west. I do want to show you what's coming on the backside of this system. And you can see there's the low pressure system and the colder side of things, which is going to be proving to be an interesting setup for some, especially north of this warm front, because all of this colder air is going to come uh, just screeching down on the backside of that system. It's a very tight system. It's like 992 millibars, somewhere that's been deepening during the overnight hours. And so we're talking about heavy snow up there around Topeka and let's see, Wichita is getting some of it. Kansas City getting hammered with some heavy, heavy snow. And so that low is going to continue to track off to the north and east as we get on into today. So we're going to be on the warmer side of things here as that warm front sits just north of Bowling Green. But as that low begins to track off to the northeast, yes, I do think that some of us will get in on some a snowy mix, maybe even a little, few brief snow showers as we get into tonight. Now, the temperatures will actually be coming down as that low starts to pass by the Ohio River. We'll start to draw in some of that colder air. And I do think our high temperature today, 53, 4, somewhere in there, is going to start to go down this afternoon as that low pressure system passes by. So we're not going to stay this warm all day. It is eventually going to get colder into the afternoon and evening hours. And that's when we could see, with any leftover moisture, some mixing of rain and snow. Again, this is going to be one of those situations where it's not going to be that big of an impact. It's not going to be that big of a deal. We'll get something out of it, and then it's just gone. Okay, so if you're hearing otherwise, you're probably not watching me. All right, I'm just putting it out there. It's just the way it is. All right, here's a look. Let's check the Kentucky Mesonet this morning, and you can see that warm front. It is north of us because north of the warm front, once you get up into northern Kentucky, it's only in the low 40s, and then all of a sudden, it's like mid upper 40s, 50s as you head further south. Let's check the winds. They've been occasionally gusty, but not that bad. The winds have been you can see again, the warm front has been lifting north. So the winds are from the south and they're warmer. So we've had gusts of 15 to 20 to 25. There's a 30, looks like a 30-mile-per-hour gust near Monticello, Wayne County, just within the last couple of minutes. There's a 33-mile-per-hour wind gust in Danville, up in Boyle County. So, yeah, occasionally, but there's this bit of an inversion, and it gets really technical, but anyway, that's keeping the upper winds from being drawn down to the ground like we thought would happen. Now, it still may happen. And here's why I say that, because the low pressure system is just north of us and is going to go just across north of the Ohio River, kind of like this. And once it does, I think that's when the winds are really going to start to pick up. And we could have those 30 to 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts as we go through the day, especially after some of the rain tapers off this morning. That rain is kind of keeping it murky, keeping some of the upper winds from coming down. But I think once we get the rains out of the way and get a break in the rainfall, then the winds will start to pick up. And that's when we could have some of the higher gusts. How about rainfall? Let's check. And hey, it's been impressive here. Almost an inch of rain here in Bowling Green at both of the reporting stations. Almost an inch and a half, rounded up, maybe inch and 4/10 over in Butler County near Morgantown, an inch and a half there in Russellville, Logan County, an inch and 6/10, practically at Elkton and Todd County, inch and a half, inch and a half, inch and a half. Yeah, this is all verifying really well. I said an inch to an inch and a half to 2 inches possible. There's your 2 inch, 2.25 inches of rain over in Murray. That's in Callaway County, land between the lakes, getting a really good soaking rainfall. So, oh, I'm sorry, you didn't see that, did you? I forgot to click the little thing that says, "Oh, the graphic is on." I am so sorry. I have people screaming at me right now. It's like, We can't see what you're talking about." I am sorry. Okay, so there it is. You see, the heaviest rainfall has been in Western Kentucky. Inch and a half, inch and a half. Most of us have picked up an inch and a half, unless you're east of Interstate 65. And then it's anywhere from, still impressive, 8/10, 9/10, almost an inch of rain. But the heavier stuff has been west of us. And I think the winds are going to start to pick up once this batch of rain that's coming through right now uh, is behind us. Again, my apologies for not clicking the button like I should. Okay, let's click this button and let's go to the model blender. And I'll let you see, make sure I turn it on, let you see what's coming. And oh boy, oh boy. If you watched yesterday, you saw me show this and talk about single digit temperatures. And look at that. Next week, boy, howdy. Look at that. Lows around zero. And you may be looking at this and say, is that for Bowling Green? Really? Up here it says Bowling Green, KY. They didn't have enough room for the N. So it's Bowling Green, Kentucky. And that's our code, KBWG. That's for pilots and things like that. They recognize KBWG. So does the National Weather Service. That's our moniker. That is our code for Bowling Green, Kentucky. And yes, we go from 40s, 50s next few days. The bottom is going to start to drop out Friday night as we get down to 24, then only up to 34 Saturday, this Saturday. Then we go 16 Saturday night, 31 Sunday morning, or 31 Sunday afternoon, to 15 Sunday night. Monday's high 24 as an extra shot of Arctic air comes in. We go from 24 to 3 Monday night. Monday night. 19 for a high temperature next Tuesday, a week from today. And another low of 3, maybe 0. It could be. This will be modified some, over the next few days. That's still a week out, but golly, look at that. 30s, 20s, and 30s for highs and single digits and teens for low temperatures pretty much every single day next week. Those, as I mentioned yesterday, those of you who said it never gets cold. Like I remember when I was just a youngster, I was just a little whippersnapper, and it used to get really cold and it used to snow. I've been saying, wait, just hang on. These things happen in cycles. And everybody's like, nah, it's not going to happen. It's too warm. Our memories are short. Okay. We forget that these things go in cycles and they happen again. And when to, it's going to get nasty cold, dangerously cold. To be a little more serious about it, I don't know. Some of you don't believe me. That's okay. You'll be wishing it was July next week. I won't, but I'll enjoy it. I'll just take it in. The sooner we get through all this really, really cold stuff, winter, then we'll go into spring and we'll go into summer and everything will be fine. Just keep telling yourself that, right? Um, Here's a look at the current setup. And again, that low pressure system, there it is, 992 millibars, deep, deep for this time of the year. And it's got the wind dynamic. You see the very tight lines here, isobars. Equal lines of pressure is what an isobar is. Equal lines of pressure. So where the lines connect, the pressure, the air pressure is the same, barometric pressure, but in this case, millibars. This is for, again, for pilots and things like that. They read everything that way. So this is a look from top down, and you see the low spinning to the west. You see the colder side of it, lots of snow. As I mentioned, Kansas City, Jefferson City, all the way down into middle or central Missouri, the Boot Hill and southern Missouri getting rain, and we're getting rain. That warm front going to kind of fall apart as that low pressure system passes by, and the occlusion or the wrapping around of itself of the disturbance and the deepening. Look at that. It goes from 992 to 983 millibars, 983 millibars as we get into the middle of the day, and it moves towards Chicago, um, dragging with it all this moisture, the rain, tapers off a bit, but then here comes the cold side of this system. And look at those isobars, tightly packed, wind, blizzard like conditions as you get into Iowa, parts of Illinois, and Missouri. Is that coming here? No, it's not. That part of it is not. We're going to get a little something out of it, but you got to understand we're north of the Gulf of Mexico. There's more moderated air. So by the time it gets to us, we may see a few flakes mixing in. It would be kind of wet, slushy, maybe, in a few spots, especially north of Bowling Green, but I don't anticipate any big issues. Then it stays mostly rain even into this evening. We'll start to see kind of a changeover in western Kentucky. Look at that. Wow. That is really deep. 979 millibar low pressure system. It just gets stronger, but it's going further away from the Gulf of Mexico, the moisture feed. So by the time it deepens even more, yes, we'll have the gusty winds, but the cold air will catch up with some of the moisture just enough to produce some snowflakes. But again, this is not going to be a big deal. Now, we will get down to 32, maybe even 31 or 30 for a low temperature tonight. That could cause some icy spots tomorrow morning. But as far as like an accumulation of snow, not around here, not much of anything. There could be some little dusting, maybe in a couple of areas. Here we go into Wednesday and Thursday, into Friday. The next system then is taking shape out west. This one is the one that's going to come in very similar to the one we have right now. And this is going to be for the weekend. So starting Thursday night, Friday into Friday night, rain, wind again, and then snow on the backside. And then that's when the really, really strong Arctic air begins to take over. And we could see a little something out of that. We could. It's a very good possibility, as a matter of fact, the way it looks right now. All right, let me show you a couple of things here before we leave from the Weather Service. There's your wind advisory. Confidence in wind gusts exceeding 40 miles per hour, high. And that's all of us. Okay. So the wet and windy storm system, 40 to 45 mile per hour wind gust likely, some higher gusts possible. The only thing that would keep this from happening is we get enough of that rain to kind of act as the i- insulator between the upper, very strong upper winds and the winds being transferred down to the ground. The only thing holding that back is the rains right now. So once the rains quit a little bit this morning, that's when the winds could really pop up into the 40 mile per hour range or even higher. So keep that in mind. Here's what, let's see. Oh yeah, it's over here. So gusty snow showers, what they're looking at, minor snow accumulation, confidence in getting snow showers high. Yes, especially north. These are the percentages of possibility or probability of measurable snow by tomorrow morning. More so Louisville, southern Indiana, Jasper, Salem, Madison, across the Ohio River, Lexington, Richmond, down I 75, maybe even Campbellsville, E Town, getting a slushy mix out of this. Bowling Green, though, on the lighter side of things. So it's going to be more north, northeast of Bowling Green and I 65, where there's that possibility of getting a light, minor, slushy mess tonight and early tomorrow. And then for us, even cold enough tonight, tomorrow morning, to create some icy spots on bridges and overpasses, especially by tomorrow morning. So that's it in a nutshell. There's a lot. Yes. I took almost 18, 19 minutes. I didn't want to take that long, but you guys were watching, so that's good. I want you to be just aware of what's going on. Temperatures right now around 50. The rain is there. We'll see a high today of 54 and then falling temperatures into the afternoon. And by this evening is when we're going to get colder. And maybe that mix takes over a low of 32 or ish, 32 ish for tonight. By the way, yesterday's high was 50, 46 the average. We were 4 degrees above average, and we picked up almost a half inch of rain before midnight. And then you add that inch or so on top of it, inch and a half. It's where we are, and it's still coming down. All right, you guys, have a great day. Watch out for the winds later, and then whatever little wintry something something comes tonight, early tomorrow, you should be okay. All right, I'll see you tonight at 5, 6, and 10. News 40. Wait a minute. News 40. WNKY 5, 6, and 10. God bless you. Have a great Tuesday.